In 1947, Los Angeles was a growing city filled with dreams, ambition, and unanswered stories. Behind the glamour of Hollywood was a city full of fascinating mysteries.
Among the many newcomers was a young woman, hoping to build a new future. Like many others, she was drawn toward the world surrounding Hollywood. The city offered endless possibilities to people arriving from across America.
She hoped that Los Angeles would become the beginning of a new chapter. Her life involved several changes of place as she searched for stability.
She moved through different parts of Southern California.
Years later, researchers would carefully examine her movements.
Then, in January 1947, an unusual story began attracting attention.
News of the investigation quickly spread throughout the city.
Reporters rushed to understand what had happened.
Investigators began gathering information from the surrounding area. One of their first challenges was identifying the person at the center of the investigation. Every available record was carefully examined.
Reporters searched for people who might have useful information.
Information began arriving from people across Los Angeles.
Investigators organized the growing collection of clues. Locations and reported sightings were carefully compared.
The investigation gradually expanded across the city.
The newspapers soon gave the mysterious case a memorable nickname. The name Black Dahlia soon became associated with the case.
The nickname added to the public fascination surrounding the story. But investigators still had many questions to answer. And this was only the beginning of one of America's most famous mysteries. As the investigation grew, authorities received information from many different sources.
Every new call was treated as a possible lead.
Investigators carefully recorded every statement.
They began reconstructing the movements connected with the case.
Different parts of the city were examined for possible information.
Witness interviews became an important part of the investigation.
Even small details were carefully recorded.
Meanwhile, newspapers continued following the story closely.
Public interest continued to grow.
Photographs and personal records were examined for possible connections.
Archives across the city were searched for useful information.
Researchers also searched newspapers and public records.
Every photograph, raised new possibilities. The amount of information continued to increase. Yet finding a clear connection between the clues remained difficult. The city itself became an important part of the story. Investigators traveled throughout the city following different leads. Hotels and other locations were carefully examined. Travel records became another possible source of information. Names, dates, and locations were compared.
Newspaper reports were compared with official records.
Decades later, historians would return to the same evidence.
New generations continued looking for overlooked connections.
But despite decades of research, many questions remained unanswered.
Decades later, researchers continued studying the original records.
New methods allowed old documents to be examined in greater detail.
Photographs became an important part of the continuing research. Researchers also studied the locations connected with the story. Each generation hoped that an overlooked detail might provide a new direction. The story continued generating theories and research for decades.
Meanwhile, Los Angeles itself changed dramatically.
The glamorous Hollywood atmosphere became an unforgettable part of the story.
Today, the historical case continues to attract researchers and visitors. Its unusual story remains part of American cultural history. Researchers continue separating documented facts from later speculation. Different explanations have been studied and compared over the years.
Modern archives have made historical information easier to examine.
Experts continue discussing which historical clues are the most reliable.
The city has grown enormously since the original investigation.
Yet many locations connected with the story can still be recognized today.
Sometimes the smallest historical detail can change an entire theory. After many decades, important questions about the story still remain.
Perhaps future research will uncover information that has not yet been found.
That uncertainty is one reason the story continues to fascinate people.
For now, the mystery remains an intriguing chapter of American history.
And perhaps one day, history will finally reveal the answers that researchers have been searching for.